Welcome back to our online isolation 3 podcast, the final podcast and my final podcast of the year. I'm so excited. But how are you all doing in this holiday season?
It doesn't
Chris?
feel like Christmas to me. I'm sorry. It's not cold over here. The leaves are still green. It's just a lot. I can't.
It's cold as hell outside right now.
Personally, I'm doing fine.
Jealous.
Online isolation wise.
Oh.
Well, let's get right into it. Basically, you all said that Nick could not win this game, and then Nick wins the game in the end.
Eating the crow. That's what I'm doing.
Don't underestimate the power of being underestimated.
It's become a very powerful force in these games, even on the real Survivor. But let's get into it. They all voted Nick as power player, and I told Meg in the chat that if Meg just had not put Nick as number one, she would have been the power player. But unfortunately, she put Nick as number one. So Meg making a mistake there for her own game, or she probably would have won this game, honestly.
Yikes! That's tough. I mean, who would she put up? Like I felt like Nick was her best
Leanna.
choice, and I remember a lot of people were saying in the last podcast that Nick was her best choice. Man, I mean, just a big shocker.
I don't think she can, take anybody out without just having them be extremely salty against her. She takes Leanna out. Leanna's pissed. She's gonna tell all the afterlife not to vote for her. She takes out Nick. You've been saying Nick's your number one, or you want Nick with you. Take out Jamil. He's gonna assault the jury for you. So I don't know if there was any way for her to win unless it was against Anthony.
I don't know. I still think Meg beats almost anybody in the end if she makes the end, because unlike the survival, folks that were in the jury, I actually do feel like this jury didn't know who to vote for, and we're just listening to people's games and wanted to know what they did in the game and wanted it explained. So I really think Meg would have won against most people. I think she would have struggled against Leanna, but.
About that, when did online isolation become about resumes?
When survival people started playing.
Okay. Because Miguel was the only one that asked the right questions. Everyone else, like, what did you do? And I'm like, bro, this is not Survivor.
I know, it's crazy.
Did it matter because Nick won? I mean, did you really have to do anything?
He shouldn't have, though, because Jamil had the more social. So what the fucking word?
He was social, and he was just a snake throughout the game.
I don't think he was a snake, because he admitted to doing that. A snake is sneaky. He admitted to what he did.
What should they be asking if they shouldn't be asking about resumes?
Like your personality. I don't fucking know. What you did for summertime? Were you give to the hungry or something? I mean,
that was the first season, Didi.
You did win ISO, right? Didn't you win isolation? Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Because of my personality.
No,
I mean, you also kind of had the resume too, because you.
I did not have a resume.
You were a power player like 4 times, which was the record until Diani.
Sorry, Didi. Respect. You and Ray Allen both just lost your records.
Yeah, me and Ray can relate so much.
So what do you think about this decision by Nick to vote out Meg? I mean, it was the obvious decision. Patty threw his 2 cents in as well, of course.
Patty, man. Was Nick really going to get rid of Meg, or was it Patty that talked him into it?
He was going to get rid of me.
I think Patty definitely gave him more of a helping to do it, but I think that was his original idea.
I mean, the thought process is sound. If everybody is going to keep Meg in the game, why wouldn't they vote for her in the end? So yeah, it definitely the best bet. I mean, hindsight. I mean, it was a great move. He won the game, but
I don't know. When he eliminated her, of course, I was devastated. But also, I didn't feel like it was the right move at first. I mean, obviously it was. It all worked out for him. Great move. But I don't know. People have been shaky with Meg. Like people have been trying to get her out a lot in the game. People have thought she was a threat. So up against the afterlife, like the final vote, I just feel like Jamil had the. I felt like Jamil had the afterlife won over, and I felt like Leanna had everybody won over. So I feel like his best chance would have been against Meg, even though I wouldn't have thought he would win in that situation. But I don't know. I'm obviously I was wrong. So
I mean, I thought Leanna was probably his best bet, but if Meg is sitting at the final two and Patty is telling everybody don't vote for Meg, we've seen throughout the season that they do the exact opposite of what he wants. So maybe they vote for Meg in that instance just to get under his skin.
Right, yeah. Who knows, honestly.
Now, you
Leanna
said
would have won. Leanna would have won. In season 1, Leanna would have won because people actually cared about people's feelings and not a resume. The only reason she got out because they didn't think she had a resume. That's it. Leanna was cheated. Justice for Leanna.
yeah, I do think Leanna would have had more of a chance to explain her game when she made the end. But why do you think they didn't see her game in the afterlife and voted her out over Jamil?
I wrote down that Meg stole this game from Leanna. I think that they were going to keep her in until Meg am I wrong? It seemed
You're
like
right.
she convinced them.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. But I think Meg also didn't see Leanna's game. I think Leanna's game was so under the radar. And so it was a very good game by Leanna and like painting targets on everybody in the game except herself. But I don't think anybody saw it. I think everybody saw her as just friendly.
Yeah, I mean, the entire game, I thought she was just super sociable, being friendly with everybody. And it wasn't until later on that I realized she was very, very coyly putting targets on other people.
Yeah, she was doing that. That's true. That's true. I think that, I underestimated it too. Like I kind of just saw her as more as a social being. But
I mean,
she was like effectively taking heat off of herself and directing it towards everybody else.
I mean, without a resume strictly based on her social ability, no resume, Dee, just Leanna on her own was a massive threat to win this game, in my opinion. She didn't have to do anything just because she was so likable. She had every reason to win.
It's something we talk about a lot on Survivor and Big Brother and just in general. On these games, DD, I don't know if you've watched enough Survivor or not, but do you feel like women have to do more to win these games than men?
Of
Because I feel
course.
like their games don't get
course.
seen. Yeah.
Of course.
But that also brings me to why don't women work together more in these games? Because I feel like that's where Meg and Deani and Leanna went wrong. Is there was only 3 of them and they never really came together enough.
I'm about to get a lot of hate comments after this. But women are not social to each other. They like to compete for some strange reason. I don't know why. Because like Meg, for instance, she always wants to work with a man. Like I've never seen her work with any type of woman ever. Except for like Raleigh, but she looks like, never mind. But so it's just this
today.
take that out. Don't take that one out. Edit that out, Nick. I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know why it's like always a competition. They should have worked together because like probably not for Meg, probably not Leanna because like Leanna was secretly planning against her, but like that whole Deani thing, yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, I feel like they needed to work together more before that round though, because Meg didn't really have a choice that round in getting out Deani because the way the nominations were with her nominated herself. But I feel like they needed to work together before that. But they just never, I don't know, I just can't explain it honestly. It confuses me every
I
time.
was under the
No, I
impression
mean-
that they were working together. That's why I
See,
was
like
confused.
they were, but like Deani did that thing where she said she was gonna vote the power players and she thought Patty and Mary were gonna
yeah.
I think that made Meg paranoid, and then they voted Jamil as the monkey's paw instead of continuing with their plan to get out the people coming back from the afterlife. So mistakes were made.
Mm.
Right. It's like the alliance wasn't like it was there. They were working together a bit, but it wasn't like solidified 100%. I see it.
Any other thoughts on Leanna's elimination?
It was wrong. Leanna is the people's champ.
Even she, I mean, she was surprised. Like she didn't
I was
expect it
surprised, like,
either.
what the hell? It was fucking resumes. I don't get
Even
it.
Jamil was surprised.
I was surprised. I mean, shit. Yeah. I would bet that she thought that she was gonna win this game. For sure. She did a great job, and man, that was a huge, I mean, plenty of shockers in this episode for sure. But,
I mean, from the people in the afterlife, I mean, yeah, don't you want to see two people from the afterlife sitting at the end? Like I feel like you're really at a disadvantage by not seeing the afterlife or the void or whatever at one point. Dee Dee being the exception to the rule, right? You never went to the void or whatever it was. But now, and I feel like in Survivor, for example, if you go to like Edge of Extinction or something like that, and you get to interact with all these people, you can build those relationships and have a better bond to be able to get votes in the end.
Well, what are your thoughts on Final Tribal? Did Jamil lose this game with his bad luck fucking duck?
I have something to say about that. Not the ducks per se, but the whole I'm stuck on Leanna. I'm sorry. But the whole purpose of Leanna getting eliminated because she didn't have a resume. However, Jamil compared to Nick didn't have a good resume. So I don't understand the logic of this situation.
Oh, I'm gonna love these questions later.
I mean, I actually have a
It's so good.
controversial take, and I don't know if people are going to agree with me, but I feel like Nick made some resume moves at the end of this game. One was
got
under the
lucky.
radar. He got lucky. There was luck involved, of course. But one of the main things he did, in my opinion, and Dave's touched upon it last week, he played that conversation with Meg and Diani the best that he possibly could, and not being the one to go for it. Because if he is the one who says he wants Diani out first, and it's not Meg, then he doesn't get Diani's vote in the end, and he doesn't win this game.
Meg said that when she was asking him questions, she said that, told Nick, she basically made that decision and you wouldn't be here without me making that decision, but then went on to say, you forced me to say her name instead of you. So yeah, props to Nick for that. But yes, I think in his head he was saying that's how I have to do it, but I don't see Nick making these moves. I think he just couldn't get the name out.
Maybe.
I think Meg says it right. I mean, I think that turned out doing him well. But I think Meg said it right when she called it out. Like, I mean, that would have never happened if Meg wouldn't have drove the bus for him. And if she would have just went along with Anthony too, then his vote wouldn't have meant anything. So I I thought it was funny, like whenever he was selling it as like, yeah, I got back into the game and then I made these two moves to get Diani, and then I got Meg out. Like I was like, yeah, you're right. Like you actually did do something. And then when Meg called them out, I was like, oh, but Meg's right. You didn't really do that.
When he said that, I was like, boy, if you don't sit your ass down, you did not. No, why? How?
I don't know. I'm a viewer. I don't know. Like, he sold it well. I'll give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
He was selling himself a little bit. I mean, he was selling himself a lot better than Jamil was.
Yeah.
Jamil was like selling for Leanna to win. Like, what the fuck? What?
I feel like Nick got to the end and won because of other people's mistakes. I guess
exactly.
He did, but he did play it right. He came back and he played. He was everybody's friend. He did. You can't deny it. Because they all voted him power player the last 2 rounds in a row.
By a mistake. I thought you said Meg made a mistake, and otherwise he wouldn't.
No, I'm saying yeah, it was a mistake, but he also played along well with it.
I feel like it was like the kind of the Anthony effect of last season of Survivor, but even more so, I felt like just nobody really thought he was a threat. So like everyone's like, well, he's on my side. He'll never turn his back on me because he has never did him. He's not gonna win. So it's safe to put him up there, and it's safe to never vote him out or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like he even said in the final himself, like I didn't like Jeb was asking him if he thought he was gonna get out and why didn't try to get out of the afterlife, and he's pretty much like, I never thought I would get out. So I didn't even try. Like, bro.
Well, I'm gonna bring in Meg and Leanna. I think that's Leanna. But before that, my last thought is though, if we're talking on social game, I think Nick's social game as a whole pretty terrible. But if we're actually talking on resume, I think Nick has more on his resume than some past winners on this channel.
This is not a resume game. It's
not a
social game, Nick.
resume game.
Well,
Thank
the
you,
jury was
babe.
looking at resume, and apparently they think Nick had a better resume.
Oh my God.
If I ever play isolation vote, I'm gonna do just like Patty. Just put me in the afterlife first. I'm gonna sit there the whole game.
That's what the game needs to evolve to. You should want to go to the afterlife.
Go
and avoid.
second.
Yeah, 1 second is the way.
All right, I'm gonna bring in Leanna and Meg. I think it's Leanna. And see what they have to say.
Oh shit, I can't see you.
Oh, both of them.
Hello, Meg.
Oh, there it is.
Hello.
Waiting to see if this is Leanna. It is indeed Leanna. Hello, Leanna.
Oh wow, I'm so starstruck.
The people's
You're
champ.
on mute, by the way.
Oh, you are.
Did you hear me, Leanna?
I don't think she hears you.
You're on mute. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Hey. Hey, Leanna.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay.
The
Well-
Southern Belle herself.
We were just talking about both of your eliminations and the finale in general. Let's start with you, Meg, and you came into this game after 2 games, and you come back with old Patty, and I mean, you had some gripes with some of the stuff said about you on the podcast. So what are your thoughts on your game overall, and what are your gripes?
My thoughts on my game, or my thoughts of my gripes with Patty, or my gripes
Well,
with
your
what he said on
gripes,
the podcast? There's a lot to unpack there.
Well, first, your thoughts on your game and your gripes with the podcast talking about your game.
Overall, I honestly disagree with everything Days has said about me on this podcast. I think I could have done better. Of course, I could have won, but I don't really think that I played that bad of a game. I might have played more strategically than Isolation is normally played, but I think I made really good connections throughout the game, which is the main thing in Isolation, is your social game and how many friendships you can make. And I don't think I really did that bad in that department. So I'm proud of the game I played. I think I could have smoked a little bit less pot and remembered more of what I said in conversations, but it is what it is.
I do want to clarify though, and I said this to Anthony also, that I was kind of confused by both of y'all's games because I felt like y'all were playing survival instead of isolation. I think that's where the disconnect was.
I mean, I can agree with you to an extent. I don't think I rallied as hard with like an alliance as I normally do in our like more competition type games, but it's hard not to come into these games without some sort of strategy, especially if you played previous games where strategy is the main component of it. It was difficult to turn that off because once you get in the screen with all those people, you immediately just like go into your normal mode of how you do things, right? And I really tried not to, but I think I did better in this game because there weren't any competitions and games I had to play, which is normally what eliminates me in an elimination round, right? Like, yeah, I get there, but I never come back because I'm not really that good at the games.
Now, Leanna, Dee Dee called you the people's champion earlier. Are you the people's champion? Were you robbed in the end?
Yes.
I was.
Now, why do you think? Go
I
ahead.
think because they had some bitter jurors.
There we go.
Meg, were you bitter?
No, I actually voted to pull Jamil down in that last elimination and not Leanna.
Now, Leanna, why do you think nobody saw your game though? Do you think you were just so under the radar that nobody could see? Because I feel like they all thought Jamil did more than you, even though you kind of gave him the idea to have the monkeys blind vote everybody.
Yeah, they thought I didn't do nothing. I don't know why, but that's what they thought.
It was hard to see in the game. Watching it back, I did realize how many strings you were pulling and how well you were actually playing. Like your social game was amazing and you could see that playing the game, but I didn't see really your like gameplay and strategy until I watched it.
But
think
even
a
if
lot
she
of people
didn't have a gameplay, I think personally, isolation is not about like strategies or whatever like that. It should have been about sociability. Like she was social, she should have won the game. So Meg, actually, to be honest, you caused her the game. No offense.
Really?
Yes.
Because when you went in the afterlife, you they asked you who you wanted to you hurry up and immediately said no, I'm not talking about Leanna. So you did cost me the game.
Well, Meg thought Jamil was the one that was, because Jamil was the one out there looking like the person making the move, even though it was you that kind of called it, I guess.
Yeah. In the game, I couldn't see that. And gameplay wise, yeah, I went into it obviously wanting to go for like the ultimate quote unquote survivor if I was playing survival. And I thought that playing the game that Jamil made more moves, he played with more strategy, he was a little bit ballsier with what he was doing. I didn't notice that I didn't know Leanna was the one pushing him in that direction until I had watched it back.
In the end, though, Meg was one of the only people that voted Jamil out that round. Most of the people voted you out in the afterlife. Yeah.
Interesting. Meg, I thought you were
He
campaigning
said
that.
in there too that there was no, I was not going to say Leanna's name, which I was never going to do. I think I had a really good relationship with Leanna in the games, but it was so much so that we didn't feel the need to talk a lot because I think we both felt comfortable with each other, but we were both telling other people that we were a threat because, I mean, in my eyes, I knew that I couldn't personally get her out of the game. Somebody else had to do it.
So Mike, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It seemed like in that final afterlife chat that you were trying to convince everyone that Jamil had the better resume, so he should stay in the game.
That's what I heard too.
But then you voted
I heard
Jamil.
too.
But you voted Jamil to be out. Can you explain that?
Honestly, I can't explain it because I don't really remember the entire conversation.
Oh my God.
It was a long time ago, y'all.
Right.
I think in that point of the conversation, we were talking about like gameplay, like who did what, who deserved to like win, like ultimately who did the most. And I definitely gave the speech for Jamil, but I do know that there was Leanna. I didn't think Leanna was going to win against Jamil, which is why I voted to vote him out in the afterlife, thinking that other people were going to be on that track too and voting to keep him out because from what I thought, the rest of the jury wanted Leanna to win. So I was honestly really surprised to see her come down.
I also think Anthony had a hand in that too. Because once you mentioned Jamil played a good game or a better game than Leanna, Anthony jumped right on that too. So.
I'm sorry, Leanna.
Now my question though for both of you, Leanna and Meg, I feel like the big mistake that happens a lot in these games, and I feel like both of your mistakes in this game, was the women not working together more fucking clearly with Diani as well, because I feel like that's kind of what crumbled all three of your guys' games. Once Diani was up for elimination and out, it was easier for Jamil and Nick to, you know, have a stronger hold on the game. Why don't women work together in these games?
Because Deani and Meg didn't really want, they was always working together. And I seen that. So I was like, wait, hold up. I can't work with them if they always, because they kept giving Anthony the power play, a monkey paw to vote one of us out. So I was like, that wasn't my best interest. So I felt some kind of way.
I felt like we kept giving him the monkey paw because we knew that his vendetta and his eyes were solely set on Jamil. And that was pretty much me and Deani's target at the time. We were trying to get him to work with us, but we knew that he was the biggest threat in the game at that point, and I knew Anthony and him had it out for each other. So, and I felt comfortable with Anthony, so I felt comfortable with him having the monkey paw. Watching it back, I realized what a great relationship and alliance I guess me and Deani had, but I never really trusted her at all throughout the game. I trusted you, which is why I felt like I didn't need to use my conversation time to like build myself up with you, because I felt like I had that right off the bat and I felt comfortable with you. So I talked to Deani a lot because I honestly really didn't know where her head was at the whole game. Even though watching it, you can see that we're working together, but playing the game, I wasn't really 100% sure on that.
So how did you all let Nick become the final power player the last 2 games?
That's the $1 million question, right?
He's coming out the afterlife. Like, how do we let this happen?
I wasn't threatened by Nick at all. And I feel like Nick and I had a good relationship the first time he was in the game. And I knew I was in good with Anthony, which I thought helped me be in good with Nick as well, since they were friends. But he said when he was in the afterlife, if he got back in, the only thing that he would do is get me out. And the only reason he got me out is because I put him number 1.
Damn.
I explained that earlier on the podcast that if Meg had not voted Nick number 1, Meg would have been the final power player. So the rankings played a part.
Meg, if you would have gotten the final power player, who would you have taken out?
Jamil.
So then it would have been Nick versus Leanna against the afterlife. It still would have been tough because I know Anthony. Situation. Yeah, I think Anthony would have really tried to get Leanna out pretty hard from the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only reason I voted Deani out, is because I thought I had a better chance being against Anthony in the afterlife vote than I would Deani. It wasn't me trying to like stab her in the back or turn on her, but I was like, if it's me or her, I'm gonna try for it to not be me.
Yeah, I know. I said earlier, I thought the mistake was you and Deani giving Jamil the monkey's paw when he then stabbed you guys in the back.
Nick made it look like you flipped that switch real quick.
Well, but she had to.
It honestly wasn't really in my mind until she cut out and Nick was like, oh, I want to vote her. And I was like, well, if you vote her, then I'll follow that, right? Because she is a big threat and I have a better chance with the afterlife if I'm going against Anthony, for who gets out. But then he didn't want to open his mouth and say anything. And I was like, well, it's now or never, right? I either get her out now and try my chances against Anthony, or I get Anthony out and then I go right after.
Good on you for calling him out on that at the questioning.
He had the audacity to try to get that credit.
Right? He was like, well, the move I made. I'm like,
was it you? Was it you or was it me?
I still think he gets half credit because he still did say that.
Yes,
he does. He gets half credit.
Okay, 25%.
He gets like 10% credit, man. Come on.
10? Oh, damn.
Meg just said herself that if he didn't say anything, she wasn't.
Yeah, but that's Nick though. Like Nick can't get it out, so you have to do the talking for him. And I felt like that was the scenario there. Meg was kind of tired of waiting and just
no, but Meg literally just said that if Deani hadn't cut out and if Nick didn't mention that, then Meg would not have jumped on.
So I have a question for Dot.
So,
when we first started, you underestimated me. Why?
I did. I absolutely did.
Miss Leanna.
Because honestly, at the beginning, you don't get to see like your fangs, honestly. Like you don't get to see how serious you can be and how like not about nonsense you are. At the beginning, it's like, yeah, I like you, I like you, I like you, I like you, I like everyone. Everything's perfect. But no, like when I just didn't think that with that attitude, you would be ready for all of the lies and deception. And you were. I was absolutely wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I underestimated you too, for sure. I think we all did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony sure did. He didn't think you were going to snap at him like that.
Leanna, where do you stand with Anthony?
Oh, man. He couldn't. Oh, I don't have nothing to say about Anthony. He was getting on my nerves. But it wasn't that I believed what he said. It's just by Patty missing my meetings, and then because I knew Anthony was lying, so I didn't want him. Y'all probably thought I was believing him, but I really wasn't. It just me and Patty. I had a feeling that Patty was talking about me, which he did. He told Meg that Leanna know too much of my season, like it's gonna be a problem. I just had that feeling like he wasn't feeling me. So it wasn't that I believe Anthony. It's just Anthony lies after lies after lies. That's why I told him just shut up.
I'm gonna bring in Jamil here since he's here.
Andy, I loved seeing your face whenever you got into touch with Anthony. Like usually
I couldn't do it.
You
Sometimes I just was like,
She was
one
like,
day I talked to Ice.
really did not want to talk to
telling
him.
me,
I
Dick
completely
wasn't telling me
understand.
who I had to talk to. So it was like I talked to him earlier, then I had to talk to him again. I was like, I can't do him again.
Hello, Jamil.
Good evening.
Oh,
Oh wow.
hit us with your deepest note.
Yes, hit us with your deepest note.
Oh.
Damn, that's very deep.
They don't hurt your throat.
Oh, the polar bear.
So watching back this game, Jamil, what are your thoughts on your game?
I'd say that the very ending was off for me
Why?
because I seen
Did your duck fuck you up?
It was
the
Love
duck
the
helped
duck.
me out. But my demeanor, it was more hesitant. I felt like I was trying to make excuses for myself a little bit at the end. If I'd been more confident with my decisions, I probably would have done better.
Do you think that's why you lost the game in the end? Was the final questioning?
I do.
Well, Nick is here, so I'm going to bring him in as well. Our little Final Four reunion. The winner has arrived, whether y'all like it or not.
Nick, show your face. Well,
I'm here. I totally forgot I had to do this, so I was like, I
How you
can't.
win a game and just
Oh.
get all like cocky? Oh my
Oh,
god.
Lord, you got a beard and everything.
Hello, Nick. Hello, winner.
man,
Hi.
Oh, Lord.
So we are talking about the game. What are your thoughts on your game watching this game back? And how did you win this game?
I honestly don't know how I won. Honestly, like I was watching it back. I even watched all the podcasts too. So like I honestly just didn't expect I was gonna win. I legit when I got to the end, I was like, Jamil's winning. There's no chance I'm gonna lose. But then I somehow won, and I was just surprised too. But with the game also, when I was in the afterlife, I was just like, I'm probably never getting out. I'm just gonna be stuck. And I just something happened right, even though I don't know really what, but I got to the end and I won, I guess, which is good.
You know, something that did, I think, work in the end for you with your final speech. It's ridiculous, but it did, because I saw Jed. I was watching everybody's cameras, and I saw Jed, and Jed did not know who he was going to vote for in the end. But your analogy to Captain America being in the fucking ice this whole time, and that was your analogy for the afterlife and how the afterlife worked in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Jed's face kind of light up, but I think that might have been the final sell of your winning, because Jed was kind of the deciding vote in this. I mean, you guys had that good relationship too, but I feel like he had a relationship with Jamil as well. But he said coming into the final, he didn't know who he was going to vote for. So back to Jamil, have you ate any raccoons lately?
Oh God.
lately, no. I've been to more Korean barbecue than I ever thought that I would, but that's mostly because of my acquaintance Wong. The man loves it. Got to have some delicious octopus and squid and many fish cakes. Way too
Sounds
many.
better than raccoon for sure.
All right, I'm gonna stop you there. I got a question for Nick. So Nick, congratulations, first of all, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Mhm.
even though Patty said a lot of crazy shit, I mean, he was right about believing in yourself, man. Like, you know, you didn't think you were gonna get out the afterlife. You didn't really think that you could win. You thought Jamil was gonna win, and look at what you can do. you know. But question for you: which votes did you think that you had locked in, and which votes were you surprised came your way?
I think all the votes that I had, I expected except Diani. I think that's I kind of forgot who voted me, but I think everyone who voted me, I think I expected except for Diani, because I just thought Diani was just gonna vote Jamil for some reason. I don't know why I thought that, but like I feel like I didn't have as good of a like connection with her in the game, so I thought she was just not gonna vote me.
Yeah, you got Patty, Anthony, Jed, and Diani.
Yeah, I think Patty, I kind of expected after once he said it in the actual like finale. But then Anthony, I kind of expected. Jed, I also expected, but I just didn't expect Diani at all.
Yeah, Jed was the last vote, but I did feel like Diani was the swing vote.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna be honest. I thought Jamil had her.
No, Diani was upset with Jamil once he stabbed them in the back and nominated them.
I was about to say that. I said I was for a second there. I was also
That's
thinking,
right.
and then I realized, I kind of screwed her and Meg over in the end. So
You did say in the
That
finale
was the no McCoffee.
it could screw you
Voted
over.
for you to win.
Mhm.
oh well.
Now, Meg, I saw you making faces when Dot was mentioning Petty.
Oh, really? Was I?
Is
She don't even know.
is Patty the new Q?
Oh God.
No, I respect Q. We don't get along in the game. We don't play the same game. We don't work well together, but I respect Q as an individual and a person and a game player. I don't have any respect for Patty at all.
I meant, would you play a game with Patty again?
Likely no.
I think she would have done it this time if she would have known.
I knew.
Oh damn.
Oh,
Man.
well,
Oh goodness.
well, there it is.
See, I feel like Patty and I hashed out the whatever he thinks the problem was from our first season. Like, yeah, he was the reason I got voted out, but we didn't really play the game that much together in Survival
Right.
2. And we had a really good kind of relationship and chats when we were in the jury for Survival 2. So I felt like playing the game with him wouldn't be that bad. He came in just like immediately wanted to talk in front of everybody about this
Oh, that's
huge
stupid.
like problem that we had in Survival 2, which to me wasn't that big of a problem. I absolutely was willing to work with him and forget about what had happened. But I just can't follow his conversation. I have no idea what he's talking about. I have no idea what he's doing. I really can't stand half of the shit that comes out of his mouth. And then he just kept going about this bad relationship that we had that eventually, and he wasn't showing up to half the chats. I understand he had personal things going on in his life that he couldn't control, and I can empathize with that. But when you're not coming and you're not telling us why, and then you're also asking to be sent to the afterlife, I mean, what did you expect when that was in front of, was it you and me, Leanna? Did we send him? Yeah.
Yep.
So no, I don't respect Patty. I think everything that he says is bullshit. I think the whole speech, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off now
No,
because
give
I
it
got
to
started.
him, man. Give it to him.
But the whole speech that he gave Nick about in the beginning, like, believe in yourself and you can do anything and don't let anybody tell you what to do. You know, it was this great heroic moment. Everybody fell in love with Patty for a second because he was standing up for Nick, who didn't seem comfortable in front of the camera. But then when they're in the afterlife, he does nothing but degrade Nick and Jed about how they're not going to be able to do it. You want to get out Meg when you go back in? That's impossible. There's no way you can do that. You're not a strong enough player. And then the second Nick gets back in and Patty haunts him, remember when I told you, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. You are amazing. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Get out of here. He's bullshit. And I'm sorry, the stuff that he said about me on the last podcast was absolutely disgusting. And that really just like took away any chance of me wanting to have any kind of cordial relationship with him. I really took offense to the comments he made about me and Miguel and what he thinks he saw between me and Miguel. I'm a mother and a professional and a wife, and that was incredibly disrespectful. So yeah, you can continue. That's all I have to say about Patty.
Rivals confirmed right there.
Nick, I was going to ask you, so you get a lot of shit in your both games about your social game and maybe being a little shy talking in groups. Are you shy talking in groups, or do you feel comfortable with different people?
I feel like when it comes to like the calls and stuff, I think it depends who I'm with. Like if I'm with like Anthony, obviously I'm not going to be shy, but like I think I'm kind of shy with like anyone new, I guess. And that's why like when you see like I look around the camera, I'm not like doing something, I'm not like looking at something else. I'm just like, it's hard for me to like look at one thing for just like a long period of time. That's why I look around all this time.
Hey,
Yeah, I felt
Nick.
like Miguel as well, but go ahead.
So Nick,
Uh,
why? First of all, when we first started, you said, I mean, you was coming for me hard. You was coming for me hard. I don't know why. I guess because I seen previous seasons. But then you told Anthony that, or you told everybody else that I was coming for Anthony.
To be honest, I was just trying to say something that gets me farther in. So I was trying to make it look like I had information that, like for example, with Anthony, I had information that Anthony would want to know, so that Anthony could use that information to basically get everyone else attacking someone else, so I'm safe, I guess. But I don't know if it worked, but kind of, I guess. I don't really know.
It ain't work because I got him up.
God. Hey Nick, were you Nick, were you shook whenever Meg called you out in the finale?
Wait, say it again.
Were you shook when Meg called you out in the finale?
Yeah, kind of. Because honestly, once I was watching it, the finale back, I was like thinking that I think I did her so dirty getting her out. I mean, I think it was probably the right thing to do, but like, I don't know. I felt like I did her so dirty. Oh my God.
Well,
Hey, Nick.
Go ahead.
First off, congratulations. I'm eating crow. I did not think you could win.
Ew.
But good
Oh,
job.
yeah, I saw that in the podcast.
Really?
Does crow taste better than raccoon?
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
My
Where is
question
the
is
crow?
though, did you and Anthony really think y'all could get away, playing off that y'all don't know each other with Miguel in the game?
Honestly, I think if they, because I started saying I was in another season, but I think what messed it up is not even me saying anything. It was that they also started saying stuff, which if they didn't say anything and I just said what I said, no one would have known that we were together. But like at that point, when it's three of us, like in once that we were all from the same season, it's two. There's no way that it's not going to get out.
Well, Miguel wasn't saying stuff. It was you and Anthony. Miguel was trying at first to play.
I guess me and Anthony, but like, because like if we didn't say anything, I think if we didn't say anything, we could have got far. But like when it came to the end, I'm pretty sure like Anthony would have used it against me at the end of the game just to like get farther, I think. But yeah, there's not really a way you keep that secret.
Jamil, you kept feeling close to Miguel in this game, although I feel like your game relationship was maybe underdeveloped because you what happened during that round when you were spying on Meg and Patty and you thought that there was a conspiracy theory going on?
I felt like they were going after my main ally, and I got very, what's the word? Flustered. That is exactly what I was looking for. I got flustered.
Yeah, I feel like you took this game like you were trying to keep it fair for players in this game that maybe were like underdogs. Is that true?
That was definitely the path that I was going for. Because after looking, you could tell very quickly who those people were who were playing all sides, who were playing one side, and who had the strategic upper hand, just based on their general relationship with specific people. It wasn't as conspicuous as I make it out to be, but sometimes people give themselves away.
I feel like you were half right, maybe just a little too much of a conspiracy theory, but still half right. Now, Leanna, in that round where you had Jamil nominate Leana and Meg and Anthony, explain that. I mean, did you feel close to Jamil, or was that just the obvious? Did you really think those three were working together?
Yeah, I did. There was.
Leana was.
When Jamel came, because I didn't know Jamel was close to Leana. I know when me and her was talking, her first impression she didn't like. So when he got on there, he said, "Oh, Leanna, I know you didn't have the monkey paw because you wouldn't have voted for me and Deanna." I said, "No, I wouldn't have voted for you." So that's when I had to do something.
Now, why did you think Gianni was working with them? Because she really wasn't.
I don't know, because they was always making decisions.
Yeah, Gianni was a power player a record number of times. I guess it was just
And
her
when
social
she wasn't
You
a
don't
power
have to
player,
keep
she
saying
got
that,
mad.
Nick.
So I was like, wait, hold up. When she not a power player, she was mad. Like, why I'm in this group?
Go lay down.
We always just ended up in like the same rankings, so we were always in chats together. So I mean, when you're only talking to one or two people, you have to start strategizing with those people. But I think I tried to build like an official alliance with Diani throughout the game, and she never wanted to fully commit to like calling it like an alliance, like, yeah, you and me. She never wanted to like solidify anything, which is why I could never trust her like 100% when I had the chance to get her. I had to, because I was scared getting closer to the end that if I didn't do it, she was going to. But it was just me and Anthony. She wasn't involved in that.
At the end of the day, would you rather have somebody playing with an adversary of yours who was iffy with them, that they didn't quite have a complete relationship with, but they worked together with? Or would you rather have somebody that they simply talk to sometimes? To be honest, either way, in my eyes, it's kicking a foot out from under somebody, so it would benefit everyone else in a way. That's just my opinion, though.
But we're all kicking feet out from each other. So you kicked both my feet out from underneath me.
True. I honestly feel like Deanna going that round actually hurt your game, Meg, because
I 100% agree. Yes. But I could have been out instead of Anthony. So either way,
it was lose-lose situation, really.
Yeah. Heck, it hurt my game too.
I don't know about that. I guess it did, because you didn't get Deanna's vote in the end.
Well, actually, we'll never know. We will never know, because Deanna didn't like me anyway. So
true. Why did you want that? What did you call it? Juicy gossip? When you first met her?
She was like, what?
I'm not sure. That, looking back at that was a very intrusive introduction. I'd be offended too.
Deanna's just not the type. Jamil, where does the name Sweet Pea come from?
Well, it was all the way back when I was just a tot. People called me Sweet Potato from 7th grade through high school. Then I kind of made it a brand. And then eventually I changed it. That's where my YouTube and Instagram names come from. DP Delta. The P stands for potato, and Delta is the chemistry symbol for change. And that means I changed from one potato to the next.
Interesting.
Even though sweet potatoes aren't potatoes, they're root plants, and potatoes are tubers, which are the lower parts of a stem. But in disregarding that notion, it makes sense. And I enjoy it.
Jamil, do you have... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Todd.
Thanks. I feel like you made some strong moves in the game, right? You had to make some hard decisions. You chose to keep some secrets. Some of them you got caught on, but you had to make some tough decisions. I feel like you played a pretty good game. But I felt like for making those decisions, you were a little ashamed. Like you didn't want people, you saw having blood on your hands as a negative thing. And I'm just curious, I know this game isn't necessarily about resumes, but why didn't you sell yourself more?
Not taking notes.
To be honest, I'm not sure. From the very beginning, I wanted to be an extravagant force that targeted more powerful players. But that's why I said earlier that my hesitance to fully commit to that definitely a negative aspect going forward. I assume that I just did that since I was trying to even out the playing field. I didn't want anyone who I was trying to assist to get a bad idea and then work against me and knock me down.
So you felt like you were playing it safe in the finale then?
Yes.
And do you think the duck hurt you?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I like the duck. You had my vote, bro.
Oh, don't worry.
No offense, Nick.
No, Nick,
Here.
Nick, I do feel like you sold yourself better in the end. What was your plan going into the finale, Nick?
So basically, okay, this is kind of what I did because I knew that I could not do this off of memory. So what I did, I kind of wrote a script going into it, which the script didn't really get used, but a little bit. It kind of got used, but not exactly. So I had this whole script, and I was just expecting that it was gonna be like, everyone talks to, like, every single jury member or afterlife member basically talks to me, and then I was gonna be like, okay, say your final speech, why you should win. Then I was gonna read the whole speech, but then it didn't. That part never came up.
That's a survival thing.
Yeah, that part never came up. So I was like, okay, what do I do? So then I was like, part of it, most of it wasn't the speech, but I was taking little tiny parts of the speech and putting it into what I was saying, so it sounds like better in a way, but like it somehow worked.
Yeah, it sounded like you were prepared.
Yeah.
I felt like you sold yourself well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Meg was saying, a little bit was a bit fabricated, but you know, when you're campaigning for something, you go fabricate. It's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Nick definitely had a way with words there, especially since he used my own comments about Leanna against me.
What did he say?
That was smart.
What did he say?
What's the word? Exacerbated? No, that might not be it.
I think he was basically saying that you needed Leanna in the game. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh,
I kind of exaggerated. Actually, it was only a bit of an exaggeration. She did help me pretty significantly, even if she was only one factor. I was glad to have her as an ally.
Oh, I
And
have a sorry, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, DT.
A question about that, Nick. You know how you were implying that Jamil basically floated, but Jamil did more than you for his resume? Where did you come up with that statement?
Okay, so I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think I didn't get to see a lot of stuff that went down because I was in the afterlife for most of the game. So when I got in, only thing I could really know is from what people told me or what like people in the game told me when I got back. So I was just trying to like, I couldn't really know the full story of what Jamil actually did. So even if he did a lot more stuff than me, I didn't really know all of that until like, I didn't really know all of that until after I was like watching the episodes. Like there's some things that he did that I didn't even realize he did. So then like, if I knew that, maybe it would have been a little different, but like, I didn't even know he did a lot of that stuff.
So do you acknowledge the fact that you floated too?
Yeah, I think I kind of did float in a way. Cause like, yeah, I kind of did float because I was just in the afterlife for like basically the whole game till like the last like 3 episodes or something. So yeah, I think I kind of did float too.
Okay.
It's not really floating in the afterlife. It's
Yeah, not
frozen.
floating,
Remember,
but
it's
like
Captain
frozen,
America.
okay.
and
End of it,
ice.
yeah.
Frozen.
Mhm.
Hey, that was a good analogy. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good one.
Now, go ahead.
I've got a question for the 3 non-winners. Who do you think, if you were in the finale, you would have had the best chance of winning against? So Jamil, Leanna, and Meg, who would you have won against?
You're trying to cause some fights in here.
That's the point.
I think I would have won against anybody.
Oh,
Right,
Here we go.
right.
I totally agree.
Fight,
Because I didn't lie to nobody. I was myself. So, I mean, I think I would have won against anybody.
I'm gonna be honest, I would have voted for her.
I think the only person that I would have lost the game against is Leanna.
Yeah, I see that.
Dang, son, I didn't have a chance.
Nope.
Jamil said-
You would have had to do better at the finale to have a chance.
Don't do Sweet Pea like that, man.
Jamil, who do you think you could have beat?
Who would I have had the best chance against? That is a great question. Because I feel like everybody has at least a couple of people that were absolutely sure to vote for them over me.
It's crazy actually, because I feel like you had a chance
Jed.
against almost anybody. Yes, you could have beat Jed in the end. But
Jed.
you also probably could have beat Deanna, because I feel like people were respecting her game, even though she had a resume, even though the judge supposedly wanted a resume. But
Jed spent the whole game in the afterlife, so I'm gonna. Yeah, I'd say that I'd have an all right chance against him. He had such an unfair.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know,
got
he
rolled.
did.
Sorry, Jed. I'm sorry. Okay.
Poor Jed.
now, Nick, I watched some of your and Anthony's 24-hour live stream when you were reacting to
yeah.
this finale.
Mhm.
Why do you think Anthony and Leanna don't get along?
I think they don't get along because basically I think when Anthony basically does whatever he can do to like make sure he's not screwed, but it always ends up messing up his game, even when he's not trying to. Like that's why when someone says, okay, this is the person who's going after you, he'll just turn his whole game into like getting that person out. That's why like for the whole game, he kept putting up Jamil. But Jamil never got out. So like he was doing something wrong there. And then like he hurt, like I think I might have made that up by saying Leanna was going after him or Patty or something, but then he just was like, after he heard that, he just turned this whole game into getting them out, and it wasn't working because I think he was trying to go at it the wrong way.
He
I
can
just
get
think
10.
Anthony and Leanna are 100% different people in
Yeah,
every
that's
way
true. Yeah, that's
possible.
true.
They don't share any kind of common ground on anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was jealous.
Like Anthony loves to fuck around, and Leanna can't be fucked with. Like
Leanna?
those two don't mix.
Leanna, have you been able to watch the last season of Survival? Have you watched it yet?
No,
Okay, never mind. I was going to ask you about how you felt about Anthony's game.
no, I didn't see it.
Oh, that was a bad season for me.
Actually,
I ain't wanna see it.
if you don't like Anthony, you shouldn't watch it.
Don't watch
That's what I'm
it.
saying. I ain't never seen it. I ain't see it. I ain't want to
It's
see
a lot of
him.
Anthony on your screen. He's everywhere.
All right, I gotta wind down. So any final questions for the final four?
Okay, I got a question for Meg. Just for clarification, the only reason, because like anybody can see Anthony's bullshit from a mile away. Like the only reason you kept him was because you could win against him.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which I think is a
felt like
risky.
I had the best chance with Anthony because nobody on the jury bought his bullshit the whole time. Like, and when he played Survival, people bought into it. I don't think they really bought into it in this game, and I didn't either. And I felt like I had the best chance if we were in a final two situation, which is what I thought it was going to be, or final two, that I would by a landslide get the votes over him.
Okay.
Dot, do you think she would have?
Wait. Oh,
Of course.
I was gonna say it's a dangerous strategy.
It is a
It is, but you know what?
Oh,
I
yeah.
really feel like I had Anthony in my pocket. And I think that I did. I think that Anthony really, I don't know, enjoyed conversations with me. He kept, wanting to keep me safe. And I think
I think it's only risky that I think it actually would have been closer at the end than you think.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Anthony's like a lot smarter than he puts off.
My question is, and maybe host Nick would know the answer to this. Why was I not pulled to the afterlife when Patty had the chance? I mean, Patty could have taken me and convinced them to pull me down when they pulled Anthony instead of me. Or no. When he pulled Miguel. Why didn't Patty pull me instead of Miguel?
I think he was just mad at Miguel because they got.
He was mad at Miguel. Yeah.
He pulled the Rayleigh. That's why.
Yeah, he was mad at Miguel.
Miguel pulled a Rayleigh. Yes.
I don't know.
He came back like gung ho
Motherfucker.
to get me out, but you had the opportunity. You could have done it single-handedly.
He wasn't even targeting her though. He wanted Anthony, and then Anthony he paid his dues, but Miguel went off on the guy, and he was triggered. So, excuse my terminology. I couldn't figure the term. I mean, that's what you do when you are angry. You
Yeah,
go.
but I went off
your-
on Patty too.
She went out the day before, not the day of the decision.
Yeah. That's the difference.
I have one last question, and I'm not gonna ask Meg or Nick because I know the answer already. But for Leanna and Jamil, would you play another game?
Yeah.
I definitely would play another game. For me, it's about finding availability because I've been pretty, what's the word, disconnected for the past 10 months. Not 10 months, maybe 5 months. Now that I'm actually back in my own home, got to see it for the first time in that entire span 2 days ago at 9 o'clock. That's a whole different story. I only have 2 weeks though. That's then I have to try to adjust to a brand new schedule. But I would easily play another game. I would make time for it. Depends on how easy that would be. It just depends on my circumstances. 'Cause things are changing a lot right now.
Well, next time
Just
you
to
have
dou-
time, I will keep asking.
Just to double check, Meg and Nick, y'all would play again, right?
Yeah, I would play
Meg
another
is circumstantial.
I would play another game, but and obviously, if Anthony was in, we would team. But I think no matter how far we got in this game, in a game, I probably, even though we're friends IRL, even no matter how far we got, I don't think I would take him to the finale. I would just screw him at the very end because I feel like if I take him to a finale in any game, he'd probably beat me. So I don't think I would take him.
You're only saying that because you're in a
Be
room
honest,
full of
I was
people
about
that
to say
are
the
gonna
same
play.
thing.
Snitching.
Same thing.
I'm actually
Strategy.
serious, though,
I was
Snitching.
about to say the same thing.
no, I'm actually serious. I don't think I would take him to the end because I'm pretty sure he'd beat me in any game.
I don't believe it.
Nick, have you
If
seen
it was a
All-Star
final
Problem
two,
is,
man, you
though,
already
now,
got
like-
3 votes for you. Come on.
Playing future games is going to get more difficult unless we're playing something like the battle where we're all on an even playing field.
Also,
is
I think either way, even if I don't think I'm gonna get to the end again because they're gonna know me and Anthony are already teaming, so we're gonna be out first.
you never know.
Well, you
Yeah,
do
that's
your
true,
friends.
but-
You team with them.
Nick,
Nobody's
did you
gonna hold you
watch-
that
Nick,
against you.
Did you watch the online battle?
Wait, the
All-Star
the
season?
Survivor?
It was the online battle. It was before
With all the
Survival
crazy
3.
people.
All returnees.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Shout out to what's
Oh.
his name? Oh my god, I
think I
forgot his
seen it.
name.
Delion.
Delion.
Oh, I seen it.
All right,
Oh,
I just didn't know if you really wanted a piece of that.
I don't even want to use that.
More games you play,
It's
if
not
you're
as
playing
fun as
with
you
new
think.
people, you come in automatically. If they've watched the shows before, you stand out. They know your gameplay. They know how you roll. You're just an immediate target. So I think
Doing
it's
research
really-
like Leanna. Leanna watching all the shows to get all the juice on everybody.
I was
Yeah,
like, how
as
she
you
know when my
should.
birthday is? Like,
because it's my birthday. Because it's mine. I think you said it on your season. That's why. I think y'all said
oh,
areas, and then you said your birthday.
oh, okay,
Research.
okay,
She
okay.
does
Stop
Me and,
research,
my,
y'all.
me and my son was like, oh wait, that's your birthday. I know.
All right,
I
my
also
last-
want to note that I live in the same city as Deani, and I've never once seen her out and about anywhere, not anywhere downtown, nothing, never hung out. She never asked for my contact information, but I went all the way to Louisiana to have lunch with Leanna.
Sure did, huh?
Ah.
Oh,
That's
Aw.
Team
Like
Boomer.
these OCG connections.
She
Yeah.
sure did. Yep.
Love, that's love. A question,
Mhm.
my last question for everybody, including Nick. If you could do one thing differently in this game, just one thing, what would it be?
I would have voted for Nick to be last place on the last ranking of Power Player.
I think for me, I don't think I would do anything differently, but two things I wanted to say. I don't think I would do anything differently, but one thing I think where I screwed up is when you I feel like I learned this from like closer to the end. When you tell Patty something, it happens, it comes true. So I was like, I told Patty when I come back in this game, I'm gonna get out Meg and Anthony. The next episode after that, Anthony's out. I was like, but yeah.
So in that scenario, Patty did not want Anthony out in that scenario, but it did happen.
Yeah, but it somehow got Anthony out. So I don't know.
I'll give you that you got me out, and I will say it was the best move for your game, and I'm not at all like bitter about what you did because I would have done it too if I were you. But the only reason that you were able to do that is because I voted you number one in that ranking. So had you not,
But it's still a resume move up by Nick. Still a resume move.
but
by Nick.
The
also-
resumes. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I
Also-
handed it to you though, but it's not Nick did not like do all this amazing work in the background to get people to vote me out or get me like to be the
Yeah,
number one
that's
target.
true.
I handed him. It was handed.
See, you do agree with me. Look at you say you didn't agree with me all these podcasts.
But also something about getting Meg out. It wasn't. I didn't even say this in my like confessionals because this was like something I thought off camera. It was like so basically it was Meg, Leanna, and Jamil, and I was never gonna get Jamil out. I wasn't gonna vote him out. So I was just thinking, who do I do, Leanna or Meg? And it took me so long to decide because I was like, if I get one of them out, that means the afterlife has to choose who gets out. And I think I thought like I was honestly expecting the afterlife to choose someone different, not Leanna to get out. So then it was even harder to choose between Meg and Leanna to choose.
So Nick, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
How close was I to guilt tripping you into voting out Leanna or Jamil instead of me?
I think it almost worked because I was already thinking that it was either you or Leanna, so it almost worked. But then I was like, maybe I was like thinking that maybe if I choose you, the afterlife would choose Leanna because even if I saved you and got Leanna out, I was still hoping the afterlife would have chose you out still.
Damn.
You would have got me out. I can't say this. You wouldn't have won.
I probably wouldn't have, yeah.
Damn.
She messes up people's games. It's
Man,
true.
I wish you would have been on the
Guarantee
final.
you wouldn't have won.
Leanna sounds like fan guy.
Yeah, you wouldn't have won.
would've- I wish you
I'm
would
just
have
telling you the
asked
truth.
questions.
You wouldn't have won.
All right, Leanna, what would you have done differently?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Play the same game?
No,
Damn.
I couldn't do nothing. I was myself.
Leanna a little bit more cocky than I thought, yo. Okay.
He has a right to be.
I want to see you in the next
Honestly,
game.
though-
Let's go.
You want to see me in the what?
I want to see you in the next game. Put me in there too, Nick.
I don't know, Dad. I can't trust you.
I wish I would have
Well,
talked to Jamil
I
more.
can't trust you. I can't trust you.
Well, maybe you can't.
I don't think I worked hard enough to build a relationship with Jamil. I think I had a decent relationship with pretty much everybody else except for Patty. And I didn't put
There's
enough
me.
work into building that connection with Jamil. And that probably goes back to that first chat where I felt like he was just like calling me out a bunch. So he immediately was kind of on my radar and it never picked up from there. But I wish I would have gotten to know you better, Jamil.
I did get on you a lot in that first chat, but that's mostly because
But the
you were
first time,
standing
Jamil,
out.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't like you. You was on my bad side because you was talking a lot. So, honey,
It's true. It's true. But then Jamil was like your favorite at the end.
yeah, he was. He was my favorite.
Jamil, what would you have done differently?
I definitely would not have assumed so much because most of my assumptions were right, especially about Anthony. Especially about Anthony because he made it very obvious that he was the opposite of a fan of me. He made it very obvious, even though somehow we thought he was hiding it. But for some reason, I just assumed that Diani would be more open. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure why I thought that. Especially concerning me, someone she'd never met before. If I
I think that's why.
hadn't made such a bad impression, that things might have been much different.
All right.
Dace,
any
you've
final
been a big
thoughts?
talker on the podcast and you've been very quiet tonight.
Just listening. It's a packed room.
Okay.
Oh,
I
doing
said
all
my.
right?
Yeah,
doing good?
I'm great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let it out, Meg. Say what you got to say, girl.
Just checking in. I'm just checking in. I was expecting a lot more from Dace. He voted me down like every single podcast. So
I explained that though. I explained that.
okay.
I felt you were playing, and I've never thought the isolation was the game for you. You are a survival Big Brother player.
But I made it to Final Four in isolation, and without that one move, I probably would have won. So how am I not an isolation player?
That's fair. There are just certain things like you kept on saying, like you got Jet out twice, like it was a big accomplishment, which it probably
It
could
was
have been.
an accomplishment.
He's very intelligent, but I felt that advertising these advertising the blood on your hands was not the best move for this type of game.
I don't think that it did good for me or hurt me, really. I think that people could have taken it or left it. I don't think it was, I think it was me misreading my place in the game. I didn't realize that I was in as good with everybody as what I thought when I was playing. So I wasn't trusting enough, which normally is my downfall. Right?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think you played a great game. I think all of y'all played a great game. And I've already said the one thing that I needed to say, which was congratulations to Nick, because I was wrong.
Yeah, congratulations. I was wrong too, because I said you were not going to win or get back in the game.
I didn't expect it either.
Yeah, I couldn't vote at all. You didn't really know what everybody else would do.
I was watching the podcast last week and everyone was saying that Nick didn't have much of a chance. And host Nick was sitting there watching them.
You could have
Scratching
said
his beard.
something, host Nick.
Scratching his beard, just watching everybody. He knew the whole
Like
time.
Nick's not going to win. It's going to be Leanna. Nick's like,
I can't say nothing.
But yeah, this is a tough podcast for me, and it's the first isolation one I think I've done, because it's a completely different way to think about a game. Like, I'm also used to playing like online battle or survival, and the mindset to me is just completely different than what I think this game is, which is strictly social. So I'm still struggling to figure out how it's supposed to be played.
Isn't the point of all of these games to get to the end and win?
Yeah.
There's no real way to play any of these
That's
games.
true. I don't think
whether
there's a
you-
real way to play any game either.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, well, when you play ISO, you have to play social. You can't play any strategy. Like, there is no rules, right? It's whoever. It was basically told host Nick, I want to play isolation because I feel like I'm more of a social player and a relationship builder than I am like a gamer and a challenge, person. So,
Well, I mean,
and I did better.
think about when we played online battle and how we assumed that the isolation players weren't thinking strategically. Like, that's kind of how I see most of the isolation players in general.
You
I do think
also
it's
assumed they
changed.
weren't good at challenges. So assuming it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, but you, Miguel, Anthony, and Nick coming in kind of, I think, changed this game up a little bit.
I changed it all the way.
In the way that we wanted to see it played last time with the rankings. So it's changing before our eyes as we watch it. So.
Yeah, but like, people complained last time that people weren't ranking strategically, and now this time we're not supposed to be strategic because then we're playing survival. So
I think what he's saying is like, okay, you can be strategic, but that's not the main focus. Like, you know how you were building your resume? He's probably saying that's not needed all the time. Like, you don't have to keep saying it, but it was necessary for your game in this season, as we can see that you made it that far.
mm-hmm.
I mean, realistically, I just want to argue and disagree with everything. So.
Oh my God. See?
Meg, I thought
Right,
you
have a
played a
seat.
great game. I mean, you had a great chance of winning this game, and
Yeah.
haters gonna hate. Haters gonna
Yeah,
hate.
props to
No,
Meg. Good game.
I take it's all mental notes. I'm sober right
Uh-oh.
now. I didn't smoke any weed before this so that I could remember the feedback and be able to use it next time.
And Leanna most robbed of the season.
Robbed.
I do think Leanna was robbed.
Agreed.
Robbed.
Agreed.
Thank you,
Alright.
Megan,
Again,
for
no
robbing
offense,
her.
Meg. Again, no offense.
Love Leanna. Leanna knows that I love her.
Well, in the end, Nick did, however, win.
Yes.
Regardless, that is how we are ending the season.
Lucky.
I must end it now.
He's right here.
Congrats, Nick.
All right. Thank you all for joining me tonight.
Word up.